Well, good afternoon, everyone. It is Monday afternoon here, about 4:30 p.m., and wanted to get on and do a video here, just kind of looking at what we're seeing today storm-wise across the United States, and then also talk about the impacts of the El Nino weather pattern that is certainly setting in across much of the United States, and also how that's having an impact on the really continual stream of storms across the southern plains and Texas and Oklahoma panhandles that have been in some need of much needed rainfall, and they've certainly been getting that. So, did want to break that down a little bit. Kind of as I've been starting out here, wanted to take a look at the visible satellite across the United States. Again, a couple things that we can notice here. Definitely have some storms over kind of the Four Corners to Intermountain West period here of the U.S. We do have some storms, likely going to have severe storms here across southeast Colorado, probably the eastern half of New Mexico, and then into the Texas Panhandle as well, and even West Texas here. And then also a stormy pattern here across the southeast and really the peninsula of Florida as well. Relatively calm across other parts of the country, across the Midwest and the Northeast. Not a whole lot going on the West Coast here, but certainly have our eyes really peeled for some severe weather, maybe another big storm complex, maybe even a couple supercells with tornadoes here this afternoon and evening across the higher terrain here. So, wanted to talk a little bit about the El Nino pattern. You've probably heard about El Nino, and maybe what that is, maybe not what that is, but just heard that in the news. So, I did want to kind of walk through a little bit of what that is and how it impacts the weather. And so, right here, what we're looking at is the 500 millibar wind map across the continental US. And so this gives us a good idea of what that upper level flow kind of along the jet stream way up above the surface of the ground, kind of where those wind speeds are, where is the jet stream? Is it in Canada? Is it down south? And also we can see the influence of that El Nino pattern. So kind of at a high level definition overview of what the El Nino is it's when you get this collection of warmer waters kind of along the equatorial Pacific. So out in kind of the Pacific Ocean along the equator, you get these periods where that water does tend to be warmer than average. And what that will do is it kind of revitalizes and invigorates kind of a subtropical jet. So it's not the main jet stream that would be more kind of up here across Canada in this particular graphic here, but it's really this subtropical jet stream. It comes from those warmer water along the equator and then kind of moves up over a lot of Mexico and then oftentimes into the southern plains and the southwest of the United States. And that's really what we've been seeing here over the last week or two especially, is that when we look at this pattern, the jet stream for the most part has been relatively high to the north and even a little bit atypical for the month of May. It's been relatively far north up into Canada and the Pacific Northwest. But what we've seen this increased flow really consistently out of the Pacific, across the mountains of Mexico, and then into the Southwest and certainly the Southern Plains as well. And that brings with it not only some increased energy in the upper levels, but also a pretty good fetch of moisture off of those really warm Pacific Ocean water temperatures. And so that increases our rain chances, our consistent storm chances as well. And that's how we've gotten into this pattern where we see this consistent subtropical jet and it might seem like it's disappearing and then it comes back again, it comes back, and it's kind of just like a fire hose almost, where it just continues to bring this moisture and kind of this energy out of the Pacific Ocean here and up into the southwestern US and into those southern plain states of Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, New Mexico, Colorado, those types of areas as well. And so that's what's given us kind of the ingredients that we need for these consistent storms. And then when we look at kind of what we've been seeing and what looks likely to continue at least through kind of the weekend here, is let me change the view that we've got here and then look at our HRRR here. Let me go to 18Z. So again, this looks at we're kind of right where we are right now and then going into the next 48 hours. So we've got these storms firing here like we saw on satellite across New Mexico and Colorado. And as we move forward in time here, these storms are going to kind of grow into a line, and then we'll watch this line gradually move off to the southeast here overnight. And this is what's happened the last several nights. We saw this happen really on Monday, especially. We saw this happen yesterday. It's going to happen again tonight as we see this storm system really roll across kind of northwest Texas and the southern plains and the panhandle. And then as we move forward in time, we get kind of into Thursday. Not quite the same, but we do see another complex of storms here across those higher elevations in Colorado and New Mexico, and then kind of move southeast again. We see that kind of reinvigorate over the overnight hours, and then again push through northwest Texas, parts of Oklahoma, certainly giving a lot of rainfall here across parts of the panhandles and parts of Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas that could really use it. So when we see all of that energy coming consistently out of the Pacific across the mountains of Mexico and then into the southern plains here, that's what's really creating this environment where we get the same setup day after day after day. Not only does it give us a chance of some severe weather consistently across New Mexico and Colorado and the panhandles, but then we have these storm systems that kind of congeal into that line and then they just keep pushing through night after night after night. And again, certainly there is some severe weather that comes with that, but really what comes with that is some drought busting rainfall. There's been some significant flash flooding that's happening in the panhandles. I was up there in the panhandle chasing yesterday, and even before the storms yesterday, I would go by these different fields and you would see just lots of standing water, which I can't remember the last time that that was the case for the Texas panhandle. So definitely that's that pattern that we're kind of setting in. It looks like it's not going to let up here anytime soon. We'll probably consistently over these next couple of weeks see a similar pattern. And that's kind of what El Nino is certainly helpful for. It can, in those early stages of the El Nino, can provide that extra energy coming out of the Pacific to give you that more significant storm chances and rainfall rates that can help to really put an end to the drought, which is what we certainly have been needing. So, again, I think storm chances pretty consistently across these areas. Some of these overnight complexes that'll be rolling through. Hopefully, again, nothing significant on the severe side, but certainly some much needed rainfall across the southern plains. So, hope everybody found this video helpful and just kind of breaking down what this pattern that we've been in looks like and certainly the impacts of the El Nino that's been setting in. And hope everybody has a good rest of your Wednesday and a good work week, and then certainly a good Memorial Day weekend here to come up. So, hope everybody has a good rest of your day, and I'll see you back for the next video.